Hello and welcome back to page 2. So we're going to continue on with our review here. We're going to do a few more problems. So this is finishing out from problems from midterm 1, and then we will continue on. You can see down a little further that it's from midterm 2. All right. So first thing they tell me is that segment DE bisects AB. So I'm going to draw a segment. I'm going to draw my segments here. Here is, we'll say call that AB. We'll label that one A. B, and then there's some segment DE that bisects it, because that's what it says. So we'll draw a segment DE that looks something like that, and therefore it is cutting this guy here is equal to that side there, and so this is DE. That's an E, and then at point C. So there's a point C right here where they overlap. And so with that happening, then we know that AC and CB are going to be equal to each other because of the definition of bisector here. So what we've got here is that we can set that 8x minus 3 equal to 4x plus 57. And that is a 4, not a 9. All right. And so combining, I'm going to move things around. I'm going to subtract 4x across the equal sign. So I get 4x minus 3 equals 57. If I add 3, 4x, I'm going to move up here. 4x equals 60. And then if I divide by 4, I believe x comes out to be 15. And that's all they were asking me to find was x. So that is the answer that I'm looking for. All right, in the next example here, they told me we have a right angle. That's what this little box is right here. And that being a right angle, then I know that these two angles are complementary, which they add up to be 90 degrees. I don't know that this guy goes in the middle. It doesn't tell me that they're equal to each other, so I can't set them equal to each other. So the best I can do is say 3x plus 25 plus 2x minus 15 equals 90. So if I combine like terms, I get 5x, and 25 minus 15 is 10, equals 90. And so if I subtract 10, I'm just going to solve algebraically here. 5x equals 80, and when I divide by 5, x comes out to be 16. All right, and that's what we are looking for in this one, because that's all they were asking for, was that we find the value of x. All right, and then another definition here, A and B are supplementary. So supplementary means, if you remember from the beginning, means 180. So if we're going to solve this one, we're going to add these two angles together. Angle A plus angle B will equal 180. So substituting in my stuff, I've got 10x plus 18 plus 6x plus 2 equals 180. And then I'm going to combine my like terms, 16x plus 20 equals 180. Now I'm going to solve it algebraically. I'll move up here, 16x plus 20 equals 180. So I'll subtract 20. And so 16x equals 160 divided by 16. That gives me x to equal 10, but that doesn't answer the question because they want to know what angle B is. And so angle B is going to be 6 times 10, substituting in the 10 I just found, plus 2. So angle B, when I solve this, looks like 62 is what I'm looking for. All right, so that concludes the stuff from Unit 1 that we're covering. Unit 2, then, we're moving on to midterm 2. Here are some things that we've got. We are trying to find the value of x in this one, and so we need to remember some other definitions. Well, I see that this one is angle x, and there's a vertical angle to angle x, so that these two angles are congruent to each other. So looking at this small triangle down here, I have 3 angles, and I'm trying to find this x angle, so that would mean that I could add all these angles up and equal 180. So 29 plus 90 plus x equals 180, because all triangles add up to be 180. So adding 29 and adding 29 and 90 together gets me 119 plus x equals 180. And then if I subtract 119 across the equal sign, x will come out to be comes out to be 61 degrees, and that's really what we were looking for. So that top angle is 61, so is that angle up there. All right, this one is an exterior angle theorem question, and the exterior angle theorem tells us that the two angles not touching the exterior angle, this is the exterior angle out here, the two angles not touching the exterior angle add up and are equal to that exterior angle. So that would mean that 3x plus 10 plus x plus 40 equals 6x. And so now we just combine like terms, which gives me 4x plus 50 on this side equals 6x. And if I then solve algebraically by subtracting 4x, 50 will equal 2x. And if I divide by 2, x comes out to be 25. And that's all they're asking for in this one is what's the value of x. So there you go. But I could substitute 25 back into all of these guys, and that would give me the angle measures. And then this one, they're asking us to solve for x and y. And so in this case, they're telling us some information with some markings on the drawing. Since the markings tell us that these two sides are the same, remember the sides opposite the angles, that was the relationship where if we had one angle was small, then the side opposite was smaller, and so on and then the next one, the biggest opposite the biggest angle was the biggest side, things like that. But if the two sides are congruent, then that would mean the angles opposite them would also be congruent. So angle Y is 52 degrees. All right, and that's just because this one's 52 degrees. Now, what do we know about all the angles in a triangle? Well, they all add up to be 180. So I've got two 52-degree angles now. So I've got 52 plus 52 plus 14x plus 6. That would equal the total of 180 degrees. And that's a 4. My 4s and 9s on this seem to run together. Anyway, so let's add this guy up. Let's see. 52 and 52 is 104. 104 plus 6 is 110. Plus 14x equals 180. So if I subtract 110 across the equal sign, then that would give me that 14x would equal, I believe, 70. And then if I divide 70 by 14, I end up with x equaling 5. So I divide by 14, x comes out to be 5. And so that gives us the answers of y is 52 and x is 5, and we could substitute that back in up there and find that that angle should add up to be 70. All right, so this concludes the video for the next few problems on this final review. We will do a few more very, very soon.